So good. We're just meeting today with Susan Hagan, who lives and works in Bulgaria. Very nice to see you, Susan. Just tell us a little bit about your background, would you?
Way back, many years ago, I went to Nepal as the first volunteer. I was a newly qualified teacher, and I was invited to go to Nepal to teach English as a second language, during which time I studied Ayurveda with a doctor there, an 8th generation doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, and that really piqued my interest in all things alternative and complementary.
How did you get involved with the scar tissue work then? Because as we know, you're one of our instructors, but how did that little journey start?
I have been trying to remember where I first learned about MSTR. I was particularly immediately interested because my son had a very large operation when he was very small on his hip. So he has a mixture of scars around his right hip. So anything that would help him has always been of great interest to me. So I think I heard about it on the Wednesday and booked you on the Thursday, some very, very short period of time. I have been doing bone therapy and other therapies, but mainly bone therapy, and teaching it also, as you know, for 20 years now. And since I've been doing MSTR, scar tissue work, the first thing I ask my clients when we do a consultation is, do you have any scars? So how it's changed my practice is that I only ever start out with MSTR.
Wow, that's a huge change. And let me ask you, in your Ayurvedic training, was there much education about scars and what they did?
No.
Right. So that's quite amazing, and you know, we find this with that there's a huge area of kind of information that's not been filled in yet.
If I have the time, I just want to tell you about my latest case history. This is a gentleman who has been diagnosed with some rather traumatic condition. And in order to find out exactly what the problem was, they did a biopsy. And they did the biopsy on the top of his right buttock. And this was a while ago now, I think maybe a year ago, if I remember correctly. And when he came to see me, he had right-sided pain up the whole of his shoulder, up the neck, right into the trapezius, up into the occipital area. And it was really bothering him. And so it would sometimes shock him so much that he felt nauseous. So when I saw the scar for the biopsy, when I first started to see him, he immediately felt a change. He could feel transference of tingling right into his right shoulder. And I just heard this morning that he is out of pain, has no shoulder pain. He can completely, has complete range of movement again. And so it was just so timely for this call. I had to tell you about it.
Yeah, that is amazing, isn't it? It's true to say that this work has been truly invaluable to your practice, hasn't it, Susan?
Well, if I was talking about a piece of jewelry, I'd say it was priceless. You can't put a price on how one can help people with this technique.
Well, that's a beautiful comment. Thank you. But what would you say to someone who is maybe thinking about taking the class but not done it yet?
I would say don't waste any more time. Really, as soon as you can possibly do it, do it.
So we'd just like to thank Susan for her time today, and we really appreciate it. Susan is one of our MSTR instructors based in Bulgaria, but she's offering online classes, of course, now to all her colleagues and friends in Hong Kong, in Bulgaria and the United Kingdom. So thank you again for your time, Susan. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.